Hi there, it's Bev. I know it's been a long time, but I'm here again on a Teal journey to just give you guys an update and talk about a few things. As you can see, I've lost most of my eyebrows, almost all of my eyelashes, and the most annoying part is losing all your nose hair because your nose runs all the time. With no filter, you get all kinds of crap in your nose. So that's fun. But I'm coming up on the 20th with my last chemo, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully, life can get back to some semblance of normal. But yeah, so last chemos did pretty well. The doctor's pretty happy with my blood work every time. This last time I had a bit of low potassium, and my white blood count though is doing good, probably thanks to that growth factor shot. Haven't had any bone pain from that, but I have been taking the Claritin every morning, so I'm guessing that must be working if I do have bone pain, but I'm not going to test it. I have really had no nausea. A couple of days I had a little bit, but the Compazine knocks that out pretty quick. And achy a lot of the time, muscle aches, like going up the stairs and feeling like my legs are jelly when I get to the top is kind of annoying, but not too bad. Occasional back pain from it, which is pretty normal, par for the course. The issues that have been most debilitating is the fatigue. So the fatigue and the brain fog. So, they lots of people, joke about chemo brain and everything, but it is definitely a real thing. You cannot remember stuff. You get stuck on sentences. You forget things. Sticky notes are my best friend right now because I don't remember half of what I'm supposed to. This has made work a little bit difficult because I forget things are coming up. Even if I look at my calendar that morning, by the time I get to the time of a meeting, I'm already forgotten that I had one. So that's fun. When I'm working with patients, I seem to be doing all right, but it's kind of annoying. Staying on track with writing is a little more difficult. I seem to go off track a little bit more often than I would like. But there's not much I can do about that at this time. All I can do is hope that the brain fog goes away after I finish chemo, and hopefully the fatigue does as well because I really, really hate having to sleep all the time. I can't get anything done. I go to start putting my laundry away, get tired halfway through sorting it, lay down for a while, then wake up and maybe later put it in the drawers. Then I have to rest again. Then I can put the clothes on the hangers. Maybe if I'm lucky, I don't know. They've been laying on the bed since yesterday and piled up on my craft table. So that's pretty much the biggest part that's really been a hard issue to handle. But other than that, I did the Signatera test, which is the one that detects if you've got any cancer cells in your blood, and it came back negative. My CA 125 is now 2.2, which really doesn't matter as long as it's below 35. It's considered not bad, but it's when it starts going up that they're concerned that there might be a recurrence. So that'll be checked regularly. However, it's important to note that it's not a definitive test, and sometimes it can be positive and up in the hundreds range for something entirely different. But it does give them a starting point of where they can start looking and kind of at least a signal that something's wrong. Let's figure out if it's cancer or not. So, the biggest issue I wanted to talk about today is the Sickness Olympics. If you've never heard of this, I don't know if anybody else calls it that. This is just my name for it. And the Sickness Olympics, I found out there are Cancer Olympics, and it is disturbing to say the least. Occasionally, I make comments on threads on Facebook about certain cancer creators and doctors and things talking about cancer. And I got to this one, and this one person had posted, well, there's cancer, then there's cancer. It's not the same when you have stage 1 or 2 than it is when you have stage 3 and 4. And there's a big difference. And then somebody responded to this person and said, yeah, stage 1 and 2 is just an interruption in your life. stage 3 and 4 changes your whole life. And I'm like, what? We're all here because we have cancer, right? It doesn't matter what stage it is. It is not just an interruption to have stage 1. It is a complete life-changing event, and it is with you the rest of your life. Yeah, it's tough to have stage 3 and stage 4, and that, unfortunately, is where most ovarian cancer is caught. And in my groups, I have never encountered one of the ladies that has said anything like this. This was on a general cancer post, but it just made me think that there are people out there that think that. The I'm worse off than you, so you shouldn't complain types. And it's like, we're not trying to beat each other with how bad we're feeling. Everybody is going through hell with this whole disease. And it just floors me that people actually think that they should be able to tell people, well, you shouldn't worry, you don't have it as bad as I do. And it's like, even stage 1 or 2, you spend your life waiting, watching, worrying. Is it going to recur? Is it going to come back? Am I going to go get a scan this week and I've got cancer somewhere else? There is no not changing your life. It completely alters everything you do. And yeah, there's a higher risk with 3 and 4, and I acknowledge that. That is true. But the point is, why put other people down just because you are at a more advanced stage than they are, when theirs could come back at stage 4 in 2 years, or in 1 year, or 6 months? Even if you're stage 1, you have no idea how quickly a cancer can come back and be completely debilitating. And it's sad to see that in a community that is supposed to be supportive of each other. And it just reminds me that it happens so often. I know in the chronic illness community it does happen there. Well, you don't have this and this, and I do, and it's a worse chronic illness than yours. And it's like, what's the difference? We all have a chronic illness. Cancer is a chronic illness. And just really bothers me a lot. Another encounter that I had that left me just shaking my head was a person had posted about how if you have no uterus, you shouldn't have an opinion on women's health issues. I just posted, I don't think that's a good way to put it, because it indicates that those without a uterus can't have an opinion, even if they were born with one. This person completely went off the hook. I was like, she's like, well, you don't know me, and da 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 da. And I'm like, well, number one, I didn't say anything about you. I said I didn't think that it was fair to everybody that doesn't have a uterus and may have had theirs removed, because it takes them out of the quotation. And maybe I'm just literal minded, but then she went on for probably 3 paragraphs about how she had cancer at 22 and it was uterine cancer and she had everything removed and she had a right to share something like that, and I should just stay out of it if I don't know what her life is like. And I was like, well, another thing, I just had everything removed because of ovarian cancer. So I'm out right now and you're going to be blocked because I am not going to be around somebody that weaponizes their cancer. And that just is disgusting to me. Why use your cancer to get one over on another person? It doesn't make sense. I mean, we're all going through this journey, and this could have been a great opportunity to make a friendship with somebody. To say, yeah, well, I know that, and this, this is my life where I've had cancer, so I don't have a uterus, but I don't think it's such a big deal to share this. Okay, I could have responded that, oh yeah, I just had ovarian cancer and had the surgery to remove everything as well. And it could have led to a friendship on a thing that we both had experienced. But instead, she goes on this rant that had nothing to do with anything I said. I wasn't mean. I just said I didn't think that was fair to people without a uterus who may have been born with one. And really, it should be bodily autonomy for everybody. Everybody has a right to control their body. Whether it's male circumcision, female reproductive, or intersex babies. No one deserves to have their body altered for any reason other than their own. And it's something that just irritates me to no end, because just because you have a condition doesn't make you better or more able to know these things than other people. And you also never know who you're talking to, which just tells me that this person only thought of themselves in the situation and didn't think about other people. Because what are the chances that you're going to encounter another cancer survivor in those situations? Not very high. But in this case, she did. So was she going to do this and give this whole story of how she had cancer and she could say this because she had cancer? Well, that doesn't mean anything. You don't get to spread misinformation and downplay situations just because you feel like you have a right to do so. And that's so rampant today, is this whole misinformation thing. And I think the last thing that has just been driving me absolutely up the wall is the amount of people who will tell you to use ivermectin. I am disgusted and absolutely floored by this, because there is no evidence, no human trials, no nothing that proves that this medication does anything for cancer. And these people are suggesting that it is a magical cure, and when you call them out on it, they're like, well, here's all the research, and it's blog posts, or it's misinterpreted research articles. And I got into one discussion, and the lady was like, oh, well, it works, and it is a human medication because, see, here's my daughter's acne medication. It's ivermectin. And my response was, I'm not going to take horse medicine or topical anti-acne medicine into my body. No, there is no FDA trials. There is no reason to believe that this works. And yeah, maybe it does. Show me the trials. Show me the evidence. That's what I want. Unless you can show me the evidence, I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to believe it at all. They go through the process, they do the human trials, they show that it works. Great, I'll say okay. But until they do that, I am not buying into it. Because most of the time, these people are trying to sell a protocol. So you spend $1,000 with this grifter who has this foolproof cure for cancer. No, he doesn't. He's wanting to line his pockets. Or she. Or they. That's all there is to it. It's a grift. And it's horrific, because it targets people who are trying to hang on to hope and who are desperately looking for a cure. I don't blame them. Not at all. I blame these people pushing it. I blame the people that are getting out there and swearing by how this works for everybody and everybody should try it, everybody should buy their protocol, and all of this junk. Because you know what? It's preying on a very vulnerable population. And that is sickening. Absolutely sickening to me. So, but there's my soapbox for the time being. And I know some people are going to disagree with me, but yes, you're right to disagree with me. I'm not going to tell you not to. But I am going to say that this is my opinion. This is my stance based on the facts that I have at this time, at this juncture in my life. And yeah, so, but anyways, to close up, chemo number 6 in just about a week and a half. Then 2 weeks later, CT scan with contrast. Then a couple of days after that, I'll be having an appointment with my medical oncologist that does my chemo. And a couple weeks from that, I will be having another appointment in with my gynecologic oncologist in the hospital where I had my surgery. And then the day after that, I get to go booth at Pride, my first booth for the year, and hopefully I'm feeling better at that time, but I've got my kiddos with me and they will help me with everything I need help with. I've bought a lot of rechargeable fans just because it's in June. So if the 2 days of Pride turn out to be rough, I'll be able to sit under a fan for a while. But anyways, I wish everybody good luck, good spirits, and I'll be checking in again after my last chemo. Thanks, guys, for listening.